Previously on Survivor Branford. After coming up short in the previous vote, the minority three of Dennis, Steven, and Ryan each sought to make this next vote not their last. Dennis appealed to each member of the majority and offered to use both his vote and his oyster shells in any way that could benefit them. Meanwhile, Steven connected with Lisa, who vowed to use her influence to keep him safe until the final 7. And Ryan began thinking of taking his hidden immunity idol out at the next tribal council with the primary goal of protecting himself. Further helping the minority's cause was a growing unrest within the majority 5, as Lisa and Lexi continued to question if this arrangement made the most sense for them long term. At tribal council, Ryan used his immunity idol and alongside Steven voted with the majority for Dennis in the hopes that day 2 would provide their much needed breakthrough. 7 are left. Who will be voted out tonight?
Survivor Branford Day 2. I'm really excited to have made it to this point, especially with the weight that I was carrying coming into this season. Ryan and Steven, they know they're at the bottom right now. I'm going to click up real tight with Haley from here on out. So because it's a split vote though, we'll tell Ryan it's going Steven, Steven it's going Ryan. That's best case scenario. I couldn't get much sleep last night, but I woke up this morning, stretched, did a little meditating, which I usually don't do, but I felt like it was fitting for this morning. I think this could be a pivotal point, and this is the move that needs to be made to get me back to the final, because I know that it's going to be a very tough road for me here on out.
I want to make this pact right here that I want us two to be strong, look out for each other.
Yeah, and we've been together the whole time, so okay. I know that you will be to me.
Awesome. My thought is a split vote between Steven and Ryan. Right now we have to market that split vote.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay.
Day 2 today. I wouldn't be lying if I said I was a little bit nervous going into today, as I have 2 immunity challenge wins, and that's definitely going to put a target on my back. I'm hoping that I can keep forming bonds with people I have in my alliance and make my way to the end.
How are you feeling after last night? Going into today?
I mean, I'm feeling okay. I almost wanted to get rid of that idol because I didn't want you guys to...
Yeah, I knew you had it.
I'm just looking for a bit of a change this round. I gotta make some moves eventually, I guess. The 5 only lasts so long, so...
Yeah.
Coming out of that last tribal, I'm feeling okay. I need this vote to go correctly with Lisa and Lexi. And honestly, I think that's a much better look for their game. If they don't make this flip on that group of 3, I think this round is a round where I feel in a good position to make it by if people make the moves that they should make. And I'm excited to see where the game goes from here.
Now it's kind of the moment that we were talking about, turning on that 3.
Perfect.
If that's good with you.
No, that's absolutely good with me. It's the same difference. Those 2 both gotta go for any of us to win at some point.
I think you're in a pretty good spot right now.
How is that from your perspective?
I'm feeling like energies.
Okay.
It may force my hand. Right now, what I can say is that the original 5, I don't know how that's going to play out moving forward.
Today is going to be a very interesting day. I think that the solid 5 is not going to be a solid 5 on the board. That's just the read that I'm getting. I could be driving the shakeup as opposed to being the one that's caught as the byproduct of a shakeup.
I'm gonna try to break up the 5.
It's still nerve-wracking to be in a 5 where it's 3 versus 2.
I'm just trying to figure out where the vote is at this point. If it's not me, I'll vote for whoever.
I think today my main focus is going to be figuring out what we want to do with the other 3 of our 5-person alliance. I think right now Michelle and Sam are just way too strong together and we need to split those 2 up. I think Michelle is probably my go-to at this point. I think she has a lot more say over those 3 than they let on.
I have not talked anything definitive with Michelle. She feels the vibes are off because she thinks like, I think she thinks like to some extent like people are going after her and Sam specifically.
Sam,
Nope. What's up?
I think it's a 4. It's gonna be a 4. Us 3 versus the 4 guy.
Okay. So we got a campaign to Steven and Ryan.
So I think they might be making a pitch to you about splitting up me, Sam, and Haley.
Okay.
And making it a 4-3 reversing. Ultimately, if you were in that 4, you would probably be bottom of the 4. Really what I'm saying is that you might be buying yourself 1 week, but longevity-wise...
What's tough is the two of you and Sam have been such a solid 3, and so from my perspective, it feels very much like, okay, align with you, does that mean the final 3 is the two of you and Sam, right? And there's no path for me to get to the final at all.
Frankly, the one person I wouldn't want to sit next to is probably Sam.
Yeah,
Because he won last season.
Right? And
That's
we
a
have
great case. We all have very strong, unique arguments on why we should win.
Yeah.
Haley as a new player, winning challenges. You as a new player, surviving all the adversity, every tribe of being on the bottom and forced to having to rise.
Yeah, it's a good case. I have really worked hard on my Outlast portion of the game for the past couple of votes. Coming into the merge on a tribe that had 4 versus 5, the votes have gone pretty much along those tribal lines. So I reached out to Lexi and Lisa, and we have been talking about the long game rather than the short game, and now they can flip with me and Ryan to get the majority. And so by outlasting for the past little bit, I'm hoping to outwit right now. And so, we got to the point that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
If you two are still okay to work with me and Ryan, we have the majority.
Definitely.
I think it should either be Sam or Michelle.
The question is who? Sam, he was the one that won last time. I feel like Michelle might be a little bit more strategic though.
But I'm
Think
concerned
it's
about Michelle's authority over Sam and Haley, previous tribal council. And we were gonna vote one way, and then Michelle at the last minute flipped. And so immediately at the drop of a hat, Sam and Haley were like, okay, and then the whole plan changed within 20 seconds before tribal council.
Sam, I think he would ride or die Haley to the end because he's so loyal and wouldn't be willing to flip or work with us at all. I could definitely see Michelle, if we wanted to, getting her to flip on Haley or Sam.
I think things are really going to get shaken up at this point. It's at the point where we have to go against the 3. I don't know if that community is as solid as they think they are. I think at some point, at least one of them is going to turn on each other.
If you're willing to turn on them.
I feel like I'm going to need to make a move for myself at some point.
Yeah. To make yourself stand out.
Yeah.
And,
Because like I said, I'm afraid probably just sitting next to Michelle if I made it to the jury. I feel like it's going to be a 4-3 you guys. You, Steven, Ryan, and Lisa.
Me and Lisa are like, well, we do have a 5. Do we stick to our 5?
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, it's also you guys were gonna have the upper hand and just pick me and Lisa off. Dan and Michelle together. I think
so strong.
it's in everybody's best interest. Even you, who's in a tight alliance with both of them, I think you can only take them so far. And so
because if I sat next to them, they'd obviously.
Our 5 is still good. I think we still have power. I mean, we've been voting together.
Michelle has more power over you two than you guys are letting on.
Yeah.
That, she's running that 3.
If that's an option that you want to explore,
I don't know if I
that's
can trust you on that though, because I said something to you about Michelle a while ago, and you got very defensive up in arms, and then I knew you were gonna try and search for her to
Well, I didn't even
rat
tell
me
her
out.
that. I didn't even tell her.
Yeah, but
anything
you were
like that.
gonna, and I kind of caught you. The chance that she's gonna take the bullet for you just like you would for her, that's not true.
Okay.
That's not gonna happen. I don't know if we can come to you for possible situations and how to rework the group of 5 if we had to.
Okay.
Because I'm afraid that you're just gonna
Okay.
run and tell Michelle. So, if you want to continue, you have to bend the rules a little bit.
I understand. There's a
So-
final 3. There's not a final 5. I get that.
Your group has to know that someone's gonna turn on someone else eventually.
With the last Dennis vote, you showed me that you were kind of, you reconciled that whole vote on me, which I appreciate that. You know, that gave me trust in you again.
Yeah.
You want to flip the game?
Alright, well, good morning everybody. Welcome to day 2 of Survivor Branford. I'm sure you've been wondering for the past 24 hours what the heck these oyster shells are going to be used for. So they are a crucial component to the next individual immunity challenge, but before we can do that, I'm going to need you to each count up the number of shells you have. So we'll start with Ryan.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. No, 6.
6. Haley?
2,
2. Lexi?
3,
3. Sam? 2.
7,
7.
8,
8.
7.
7. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna relocate for the next challenge, and then we will get going. And it's another beautiful day here in Branford as the castaways, jury, and crew gather to watch the final 7 immunity challenge. Haley's leading us off and really needs to take advantage of the only 3 throws she's got. And that's a great start, making it look easy. Readying for her next throw, and leaves it a bit short. And Haley can do no better on her final attempt, but she does lead with 1 point. Sam up next, also with only 3 throws, lines it up, and goes way long. That almost reached the lake. Maybe needs to keep his strength in check. And that's much better as Sam scores his first point, trying to break the tie with Haley. And he does, clipping the edge of the ring, and Sam is our new leader. Lexi steps in with her 4 throws. And that's good, trying to keep pace with Sam. Squares up, but leaves this one well short. And this is just as short as the last one. She needs to give those throws a bit more oomph. But she can't do it, and Sam retains the lead after 3 rounds. Ryan's up next, and now we're starting to get into the more shell-affluent players. How much damage will he be able to do with his 7 throws? Needs a little more distance to find the ring. And a hair short there, Sam's starting to breathe a little easier, protecting his lead. There's a point, Ryan's still with 4 throws left. His approach of almost pushing the balloons to the target is working. Ryan's pulled even with Sam. Good distance, but offline with that throw. Short this time, each balloon a bit different than the last. And with his final throw, Ryan sets the new high score with 3. Lisa now with 8 throws to do as much as she can with. Who needs practice as Lisa on the board right away? Lisa's aim is true, but the distance isn't there on her second throw. 2 for 3 now, as Lisa has her eyes on immunity. And another score. Already tied with Ryan, Lisa has 4 throws left to try to put this one out of reach. Lisa showing she's human with the close miss. Bullseye with that one, and Lisa now leads outright. And a 5th point because why not? Making everyone who gave her their shells proud. Lisa going to settle for 5, and that's a very respectable mark. Michelle has her work cut out, also with 8 throws. Lining it up, but leaves it short. Hits the ring, and that counts just the same, Michelle with her first point. Continuing to play it very close, but another point for Michelle. She's on the same pace as Lisa. Not quite there with that throw. And ever so close, but no good. All of a sudden, Michelle needs the rest of her throws to tie Lisa. And with that miss, she'll forego the rest of her throws. Steven up last, and reminding us of his 9 throws. For the second challenge in a row, Lisa leads as the last castaway takes their turn. Not a good start there. And that'll get Steven on the board. No one getting shut out today. Despite the miss, Steven luckily has extra throws to spare. He's really going to need to pick it up now. 1 point, but 5 throws left. And there's his second point. And a quick third to follow. If he makes all the rest of his throws, he'll just edge out Lisa. Steven really starting to heat up now, as he has a 4th point. Clips the front of the ring, and that's 4 in a row. He can do no worse than tie Lisa. This is for the win. And he gets it! What a clutch performance, hitting 5 throws in a row to snatch immunity from Lisa. Steven, congratulations on individual immunity.
Thank you.
Having the most oyster shells did indeed pay off in the long run. So you are into the final 6. Unfortunately, one of the rest of you will become the 8th person voted out of this game.
You know, me and Lisa felt like we were pretty in a good spot with Steven, and I think now that he has individual immunity, he's going to be playing a little bit more aggressively this round.
It's not about maybe necessarily putting yourself in the best position for 1 week, but what's going to get you to the final 3. I think for each of us, picking you into our final 3s, however it falls out, is in each of our best outcomes.
So what the 3 of you are basically telling me is, if this is a foursome, you 3 will turn on each other in the final 4.
Yeah, we have to.
I mean, it's
Genuinely, I would take Steven to final 4, yes. I think right now Steven's played a good game, but it's different enough from my game that in a jury setting I can at least make a pitch and differentiate myself. And I think that Haley and Sam, because we've been working together, have played similar games, and it's almost like dividing diverse votes.
that's got to be telling of the spread of jury votes right now. If you had
that
8,
many shells.
like you have a lot of powers. I would just like you to think about the end game, and you have to think about what benefits your game at this point. This is your game. You get to control who goes to the final 6.
If there was a name that you wanted, I think we all 3 would get on board regardless of who.
Yeah.
Check it out! Oh, I was so nervous, so I was pretty sure it was going to be me, Ryan, or Ryan, me. I got immunity, so it's not me this time, which is good. Paranoia is starting to set in. Michelle and Sam are both very worried, and so some fractures are being drawn in that group of 5. And so I'm hopeful that we can end up with a majority of 4 votes and push that into something more going forward. I just talked with the 3 of them, and they were like, still like, we're a tight 3, like, come join us. They know that Brian and I are close.
I feel like that pitch is kind of a weak pitch, because then you guys are the minority in a group of 5 again, which is the same issue me and Lexi were having.
Yeah.
So I think at this point I trust Steven. I think Brian's on board.
I'm a little more nervous now that Steven has immunity. If the things were to continue, then it would just be me.
The more beneficial route for each of you as individual players is to go with me and Lisa versus to go with Sam and Michelle and Haley. I'm still good with the plan of me, you, Steven, and Lisa.
Michelle or Sam? I mean, probably, which would you prefer?
I'm okay with either.
This vote's tense. This is where the rest of the game is going to be decided. Michelle and Sam, they know the ball is against their court. For this vote, I need me, Lisa, Steven, and Lexi. Those are 4. Sam had immediately ran away from me, even though we were going to continue our talk. So I think Sam's voting me. I'm going home, I'm sure.
I'll vote for either of them. I feel like voting for Sam too is less likely to vote into an idol.
I feel like he's somebody who's like loyal to his core and would not ever flip on Haley.
Like, I feel like Michelle's more likely to have the idol, but they also could be just playing it for whichever one of them they feel is getting votes.
She was
very
like,
nervous.
She was like, it's me or Sam. And I was like, she's nervous. I think Michelle will definitely flip on Sam for this one. I think it's the only way that she knows that she could stay in the game, because I feel like we're all going after either Sam or Michelle at this point. And I think Michelle will do it just to preserve herself.
Who's it going to be?
I don't know.
I have something, and I can tell you what that is moving forward if it's not me. You can use it to your advantage. Yeah, so I do still have the idol. It's right now looking like it's going to be either me or Sam. I wish I could just read where the vote's going, because if there was a way that I could save the 3 of us and use it, I would.
You guys are like the big threats, and we're the group of 3, so what can you like do to like help my game?
If I go home, something's gonna die with me. If I stay, what I have is I'll tell you about what it is and what it could mean for you moving forward.
Okay.
Can I confide in you?
Yeah.
I know she has something to do.
Michelle does. That is crazy. If we can do a blindside, if we can pull that off with Steven and Ryan, maybe cut Lexi in on this, because actually this works out good, because this now shows Lexi that I was thinking about what she said.
Yeah.
She can't be suspicious though.
I know.
If not, the only other option is Ryan at this point.
She's really good at finding stuff. She might have an advantage. Who knows?
I feel like she could have the idol. She's been grinding the merge one more than anyone.
I feel like I'm kind of in a tough spot right now, because like obviously working with Michelle, whatever, but thinking long run, like sitting next to her in the jury would be like probably really bad for me. I'm kind of torn as to what to do right now.
I empathize with you.
Yeah.
Right, it's very hard. My hope is that I can just appeal to you as a new player.
Yeah.
Right? New player to
Well, that's
new
what I'm
player.
saying. Some new players need to stick
That
together.
Sam or Michelle goes home today, the other one goes home next, and then you, me, and Ryan work together in the final 5. If you and I can like agree, just like newbie to newbie.
Well, I can say that I have never voted for you, and I don't think I ever will. And you can trust my word that I won't.
I'm gonna shake on
Okay, let's do it. Okay.
Awesome.
All right.
Is it too late for the 5 to just do one vote to get out Ryan? Steven can run away with it here now.
And I don't know if Michelle already said this, but is there any way to get the band back together and do the odd man out?
It does concern me that you guys are like so close with Haley as well, though. What can you like do for me to like tell me that like you wouldn't, that me and Lexi just wouldn't be next? You know what I mean? Like, how can you give me some type of like reassurance?
So if we can go Ryan and it works out and Steven wins next immunity, I will put myself up. It's 1 divided by 16.6 repeating chance to
Quick math.
to be screwed.
I think we have both Sam and Michelle a little worried. Sam's pitch of like getting Ryan out and then offering himself up. What next if like things go wrong was very appealing.
The only thing is, like, do we think one of them has an idol? Because I know Michelle's been, like, on the hunt. at this point she's willing to kind of like, as long as it's not her. And so if we kind of spill that bean to Sam, I think it's pretty believable to get him on board as well.
It's clear that my name's out there, Michelle's name's out there, we know.
Michelle has already said to me and other people before that she's just concerned about getting herself to this round. So if she's already saying to me that she's willing to put down you or Haley's name to get her through this round, I think that should tell you like...
Yeah. So if we go 5 strong on Ryan this one and it works out, next one I'll put myself up if Steven wins immunity. Michelle seems okay with it, like that covers.
I don't trust that Michelle is going to do that. No, this is what happens when you align yourself with very strategic players. I don't think Michelle is going to do that. I think Michelle, you have to understand, Lisa and I have gone to bat for you 3 out of the 5 every single time, and you guys have not gone to bat for us 2. We have caved like probably the last 3 times this has happened. I'm not kidding again. We're gonna vote Michelle.
I don't think that's a good move.
Why?
I don't.
Like, she's willing to throw you under the bus to save herself, but you're letting her take precedent over you, like your game as a player. That doesn't make sense to me. I just think you're a smarter player than that. And like, I know you wanted to focus on your relationships this season and stay loyal.
She has an idol, Lexi. She has an idol. If she plays the idol, and she's going to because she's at the bottom, that means I'm going home. I am trying to save my own skin right now. So I'm going Ryan. Do what you want. I had to tell Lexi because my back was up against the wall. I didn't tell her. I feel terrible that I spilled the beans. If I go, I hate to leave you stranded. Try to click up with Ryan and Steven. Yeah, this isn't going the way that we want. It's clearly me and Michelle in the bottom. Steven, if you pull this off and I'm the one going home, you have my jury vote for you to win immunity and break up a 5-way alliance and find those fissures. Good on you. Like, that is some serious outwit. So yeah, I don't know if you want to call this my eulogy.
This could change this vote.
Alright, welcome to the first Tribal Council of Day 2. I'd like to start with Steven and your immunity win. I think the word that comes to mind for me is clutch. I mean, you needed those last 4 shots to win, and you got every single one of them. And I think also contributing factors that you just had so many shots to use in the first place. So, is there anything you've done particularly well, you think, to have accumulated that many shells over the course of this game?
Well, sadly, all of my allies have been voted out, which is how I got most of my shells. But I don't know. I think I've made a point to talk one-on-one with pretty much everyone.
Haley, this is the first time you haven't had immunity at Tribal Council since the merge. Did Steven winning it change your ideas or your plans?
I think absolutely. We're in day 2. We're reaching the point where we're thinking about my game. It's hard to tell right now what would be best for my game. I just want to see what happens.
Ryan, when you hear Haley talking about switching up her game at this vote, would that concern you to hear that she's doing that, or is that more of an opportunity?
That sounds like an opportunity to me. It would be Steven or I next, and Steven's got the little hat on his head, so I'm kind of hoping that there's a change this round. I don't really want same old, same old.
Sam, I think same old has been good for you so far in this game, but if that has to change, are you ready for that?
I think it's difficult to recover at this point in the game, and I've made the case to a few people now where it's at this point you have to think about end game and who you want to see the final tribals with, and the most important thing you can do is come up with a list. Who do you think is the biggest threat at this game, and all the way down to the bottom.
Lexi, have you been working on your own list as far as end game and who you might want to see in the final Tribal Council with you?
I need to like survive this round in order to get there. So I think I've just been focusing on that. Obviously it's in the back of your mind, but at the same time it's just gonna take it day by day.
As host, I think it is part of my job to kind of call out what I'm seeing here. And I noticed a little activity in this area a little earlier on. Michelle doing some whispering, maybe last minute planning. I feel like whoever's sitting in that seat has been the biggest troublemaker at most of these challenges for whatever reason.
Times, Jim.
So
What are you trying to say?
I'm seeing you trying to do some last minute maneuvering here. Do you feel like you're still kind of fighting for your life at this point?
I ask people simply, like, what's a name? Who are they voting for? And when people can't answer that simple question, inherently your first thought is I'm trying to weigh right now if it's me, if it's Sam. I think right now both of us are feeling a lot of pressure. It seems like the 5 is done with at this point.
Lisa, do you think there's a danger in making an alliance with fellow strong players? Because they're going to realize at some point we can't all go to the end, and we're going to have to turn on each other eventually. So Michelle was kind of hinting at that might be coming, and it might be coming now. So do you see it that way as well?
Definitely. I mean, anybody that knows this game well knows that, you know, eventually you're going to get down to 3. And you got to go from 5 to 3 at some point, so you're just going to get knocked out. You can't just keep the final 5 all the way to the end and everyone wins. That's not how this works. You have to start thinking, you know, also, who do you want to sit next to when you're in an alliance with strong players? It's tough to make that call, but you also have to consider that if you're even going to make it to the end, you have to make it for all the votes.
And I wouldn't bring this up if you hadn't already, but I know you're very familiar with the final 7 votes, so hopefully you're feeling a little better than maybe last season.
Jim, I feel no better. I don't think I felt worse in my life.
Steven, I know you've probably not felt better in your life than you are right now, so anyone else want to add on to that before we do the vote? Okay, then it's time to vote. Haley, you're up.
I'm not even sitting down. I'm gonna make this quick in and out.
I don't know. I really don't know what to do. I don't know if I should play it. This is tough.
I feel confident. I feel confident. Maybe those are some bad last words.
If anyone has a hidden immunity idol and would like to play it, now would be the time to do so. I'll read the votes. First vote, Ryan. Sam. Sam. 2 votes Sam, 1 vote Ryan. Ryan. 2 votes Ryan, 2 votes Sam. Sam. 3 votes Sam, 2 votes Ryan. The 8th person voted out of Survivor Branford, Sam. Sam, enough. You need to bring me your torch.
Well played, you guys.
Jim. Sam, for the first time, I have the pleasure of saying which time is time for you to go.
Thank you guys. You guys played a great game. This whole game, I knew it was coming at some point. I'm proud of myself for making it past merge, but not only that, making it to day 2. I'm satisfied with the way I played, the way I showed out. You know, I thought my alliances were a lot stronger than they were. You know, I'm rooting for Haley. Overall, I think the top players to watch are Michelle, Steven, and I think the 3rd one's up for grabs.